Good morning and welcome to the Domain Tennis Centre in Hobart. Second round action continuing at the 2014 Hobart International. And we have a big day of singles action coming up. First up, Estrella Cabeza Candela of Spain, the qualifier, playing the defending champion Elena Vesnina of Russia. And that'll be followed by Samantha Stosur, the top seed here from Australia, playing Kristina Mladenovic of France. Storm Sanders, who had her first win at WTA main draw level yesterday, will play Kirsten Flipkens, and then Mona Bartel will play Monica Niculescu. And then one match in singles in the night session, Gabina Muguruza will play Janina Vikmar. So plenty of great action across today. And a wonderful day weather-wise as well. 20 degrees. Few clouds in the sky, but most importantly, it's not windy. So the players here will have good conditions for this opening match. There's the weather, 20 degrees, about 15 now. And after all the rain and cold weather we've had, it's wonderful to see the sun out, and it's going to keep on getting better as the week goes along. Good crowd in at the Domain Tennis Centre already today. And there will be a slow build-up throughout the morning. So, with the players in place, let's meet both of these players as they continue their warm-up. Estrella Cabeza Candela reached the top 100 for the first time in 2013, and her best result on the WTA Tour was a semi-final appearance at the tournament in Palermo. With 8 ITF singles titles to her name, she won through qualifying here and scored a first-round win over Italy's Karen Canap in the opening rounds. Please welcome from Spain, Estrella Cabeza Candela. Elena Vesnina won 2 WTA singles titles in 2013, the first here in Hobart 12 months ago, and also at Eastbourne, heading back inside the top 30 for the first time since 2009. The Russian also made the quarterfinals of 4 other WTA events and the 4th round of the Australian Open. In doubles, she won her first Grand Slam title at the French Open and also won the tournament in Indian Wells. This week, she scored a first-round straight sets win over Monica Puig. She's our defending champion at the Hobart International. Please welcome the 3rd seed from Russia, Elena Vesnina. And her umpire for this match from Benalla in Victoria is Tom Sweeney. So the players will continue their warm-up, and we won't be too far away from the start. The first meeting between these two, and certainly for Cabeza Candela, a big moment for her. Just the one semi-final appearance. Actually quarter-final along the way as well, but coming up against a quality player like Elena Vesnina, who had such a wonderful year in 2013. After a long drought of title losses, she went through and won one, and then made it 2. So she's in good frame of mind heading into the Australian summer and looking to hang on to a place in the upper ranks of the WTA Tour. And if you want to join the conversation right throughout today, our Twitter handle at Hobart Tennis with all the latest news of what's happening, not just on this court, but also the other courts and also other events that are happening around Hobart. There's plenty of things that the players are getting out and about and doing. And a lot of shots on there today of the warm-ups from the players, and also we'll have plenty of updates in the match of the court events Tasmania. One of the outside courts here, Zhang Shuai, will play Klara Zakopalova. That match just about to get underway as well. So plenty of action here in Hobart, and also some doubles continuing throughout today as well.
Two minutes.
And so while the players finish off their warm-up, joining me in commentary for this first match, seems to be a yearly tradition now from ABC Radio here in Tasmania. Peter Newlands, really nice to see you again.
Thanks, Pete. It's a pleasure to be here. Absolute pleasure.
It's good
Couldn't think of a better time or place to be watching the tennis.
Exactly. And you've turned on the weather for your appearance as well.
Well, yeah, it was a bit sad early in the week where it was just really was quite bitterly cold certainly on Sunday and through the early part of this week. But that's all behind us now, Peter, and I think as the tournament really gets focused, the weather's going to be kind, which is great. The organisers, I think, need a bit of luck with that type of thing, and I'm pretty sure it'll be very nice weather through until the end of the tournament. And if we can see Sam Stosur, let's say, get through to the final, that would really, I think, add to the lustre of the event. So I think I'm not the only person around who's hoping that she can win today and progress further.
Well, ticket sales are year on year have just gone through the roof. I think we're sort of talking in the realm of 600% on pre-sale.
Okay, well, that's great to hear. And I think any sort of tennis tournament, it's not just this one, needs a bit of star power. There's only so many players in the world who can really capture the imagination of the public, and I think luckily in Australia we've got
Ladies and gentlemen, this match
a Grand Slam winner in Sam Stosur, so the fact she's here is a great thing, and let's hope she can keep on winning.
Yeah, it was a shame that Venus Williams did so well in the tournament last week and didn't make it down here, because that would have been a draw card as well. But having players like Elena Vesnina, the crowd now knows after her win last year at the event, also helps. A great story in Storm Sanders, who won her first WTA match at main draw level. Kirsten Flipkins, who did so well last year and had a big run, semi-finals of Wimbledon. And then Mona Bartel also on the menu today, a former champion here. So there's plenty for the crowd, and it's good to see some of these players actually making return appearances down here in Hobart.
Well, it's often the pattern, isn't it? I guess that also coincides with a certain phase of their career. If they're ranked, let's say, between 25 and 60, is it right to say that? Yep. Then generally they're right in the slot to get to the main draw here. So I guess they do keep coming back. But I think they also come back because they really enjoy it and they like the environment and the fact that there's a great opportunity to practice, get some good matches under the belt. And Melbourne's only a very short hop away on the plane. So I think for that reason that the tournament's I'd like to think it's got a long-term future, because it offers the players a lot and it slots in nicely to the tennis calendar. I hope that's the case.
Well, certainly if you check out hobartinternational.com.au, there's an article there talking. The Tennis Australia president, Steve Healy, was here talking about the tournament and saying that it's here for the long haul, which is great.
Because there's the booming Asian tennis market, I guess, China and other parts of Asia, where I'm sure they'd love to see a tournament of this calibre. So I don't think there's any sense of complacency that this event is here forever, but I think it's nicely established, and I'm sure if the players had their way, it'd be here every year for sure. So I'm hoping that's the case.
Here we go. Estrella Cabeza Candela to get us underway. Second round action here in Hobart. So this match is in the bottom half of the draw. The winner of this match to play the winner of Mona Bartel and Monica Niculescu, which is the fourth matchup.
Gee, that'll be a big quarterfinal.
Yep.
Potentially a rematch of last year's final.
That's a good start from Vesnina.
I thought that was a really well-considered shot there from Vesnina. She took her time and just placed that ball perfectly. Good depth, good placement. Didn't try to overdo it. I thought that was a really measured little backhand down the line.
Vesnina had a good 6-4, 6-4 win over Monica Puig in tricky conditions yesterday with the wind, but got through that pretty comfortably in the end. It was, I think, the condition a little tougher for Puig, who hasn't played here as much as what Elena Vesnina has. And for Cabeza Candela, that big win over Knapp of Italy, 7-5, 6-4 after getting through qualifying. So in good form herself.
Well, the qualifiers are always a bit of a handful, aren't they, Pete? Because they're on a winning run and they're pretty sharp. And sometimes they're possibly a tougher proposition than the player just easing their way into their season in the main draw.
So an early breakpoint opportunity for Vesnina. That's nice from Vesnina. A break in the opening game of the match. And it'll be a different style of match for Vesnina here. Monica Puig, the ball so hard from the back of the court. Cabeza Candela doesn't have that sort of pace. It'll be a high top spin. And it'll be a slower pace of match. It'll allow Vesnina to actually get into the net. We know how good she is on the doubles court. And be able to attack more.
Yeah, Vesnina is a bit like I guess a Casey Delacroix, although with a higher singles ranking. And she's got a very solid doubles record behind her in the Grand Slams. It says a lot about your all-round game, isn't it? If you're winning matches consistently as a doubles player, I guess it shows you've got a lot of skill at the net. So she's a pretty strong all-round performer, is Elena.
The other thing too for these players is the second week on the WTA Tour. For a lot of these players, it's their first event of the year. Come down and play down here or up in Sydney. So it takes a while to get that match practice back, even though they've been in solid training blocks all throughout December.
Yeah. Although in the case of a Casey Delacroix, who sadly lost yesterday, she'd been playing qualifying tournaments for the Australian Open and ITF for lower tier tournaments, and she admitted that was the absolute best form of pre-season training.
So one love to Vesnina, but love 30. First ace. It's good work at the back from Cabeza Candela.
15-4.
First time these two have played one another, so an opportunity to get an idea of each other's games. There would have been a lot of scouting being done by the coaches. Certainly a little bit easier for Cabeza Candela's team. The amount of matches that Vesnina has played than the other way around.
Game. Cabeza Candela.
And we have another break of serve. 1 game all opening sets.
I think in the conditions, Pete, with the, as we said earlier, the just about perfect conditions, the temperatures nice and mild. There's a little bit of breeze, but that won't worry the players. I think we're in for some very high quality matches today, and possibly some long matches.
Yep.
And I think the early exchanges here tell us that the rallies won't be short, and we'll see some really good quality stuff.
And the other thing too with that is that with the wind as it is now, it completely dropped. It's not going to be a factor. Certainly early on in this match. Means it makes for cleaner hitting.
Well, it does, yeah. It's a better spectacle. And it has been interesting listening to the players talk about the wind and what they do about it. Some seem to... I guess you've always got to look at a positive when you're a professional, don't you? And Casey Delacqua said after her match on Monday that she said she quite liked the wind because she grew up in Perth and played a lot of matches in the wind. Martina Hingis, when I asked her about it, she said, that is, what is the secret to playing in the wind? She said, well, the secret is get it back over the net one more time and keep it in. And I mean, there's only 2 players out there. It's the same for both players, so I guess that's the mentality of the professional, isn't it? They just got to deal with it. Shot.
Wonderful put away at the nets.
30-15.
Whereas part-timers like you and I would sort of think, oh, it's windy, what am I going to do?
Not play.
You just have to sort of have a method, don't you? You've got to take it, all the conditions as they come. Today, they are spectacular.
Oh, overplayed it. Had a little bit too much time there. Cabeza Candela.
She did so much right, didn't she, on the point?
Exactly. Vesnina made the move into the juice court corner, so it left a lot of court open, but just overplaying. It's almost that thing of having too much time to think about it. That's good from Vesnina, really stepping inside the baseline. So another break point. 2 breaks of serve already to start off the match.
Just on the conditions, Pete, I guess the fact that we're very high up here in Hobart, right above the city, one of the highest points in the metropolitan area of Hobart, and it's also an exposed venue. So, I mean, when the wind's up, it really is a factor. The final here in 2011, was it that the year that Gaidasova defeated Matic Sands of the US in the final? It was howling.
Yep.
It really was.
It's taking a little while for Cabeza Candela to find a range. Only a couple of unforced errors, particularly in this game. And another break of serve. 3 breaks to start off this match. It's Vesnina leading 2 games to 1 in the opening set.
Good to see the spectators continuing to file in, Pete. I think by the time Sam Stozer takes to the court, we won't get a full house, but I think she'll be maybe 2/3 of the way there, which is really good for a weekday.
Yeah, well, considering it is a Wednesday here in Hobart.
School holidays. And I think anyone out there who is in a bit of a loose end, you could do a lot worse than come up here and watch the tennis. You won't see too many high quality lineups than you will today. But it's really good to see a bit of a buzz around the venue on a Wednesday. The event gets, I think, really good promotion through the local media, which
you are a part,
well,
of course.
Of which I'm a part, but I'm only a one part. I'm not the entire thing. But I think the collective interest that the local media take, I don't think it hurts the promotion. I think there's not too many people out there who aren't aware there is a tournament going on here and that Stows is playing. And that's good. You want to see the folks out here.
Yeah, but it's important too for yes, the media, but the fans, because top level sport, it's good to have it down here in Tasmania.
It is. And as I said earlier, there's plenty of other places around the world that would love to see an event of this calibre. And it's nicely placed in the tennis schedule, but it needs to be looked after, I think, by all concerned. I mean, when I first covered this event, here's a good rally.
15 left.
In fact, as recently as 3 or 4 years ago, it really was a throwback to a different era. The venue, it was charming and had plenty of character, but it was way behind the world standard. So this redevelopment has only helped to consolidate its place on the tennis calendar. But I mean, we used to do things like stand behind a little wooden partition with our eyes over the wood and sort of whisper into telephones and things. It was pretty basic, but it's come a long way.
Yep, looks fantastic now.
It does.
As Vesnina's raced to 40 love. The conditions the way they are, the best end traditionally here in Hobart has been the end that Vesnina is serving from right now. Got a bit of shelter with the grandstand behind her.
How would you assess Vesnina's year in 2013? I mean, the win here in January, and of course Eastbourne, one of the most famous lead-up events in the world, just before Wimbledon.
She's had an excellent year.
And the Grand Slams were pretty good. 4th round at the Australians, first at Roland Garros, and then the second at Wimbledon in the US. I guess she'd be happy enough with that, but
just wide.
40-30.
Yeah, but considering how many finals she's been in and not one, to get through and win 2,
yep, for sure,
is a great result. To rise up the rankings again, to have good success on the doubles court as well. Overall, she'll be very satisfied with her year.
So with the doubles, she's got a good record in the doubles. What was the story in 13?
And there is Vesnina holds in this, the 4th game. So 3 games to 1 now.
3 games to 1.
Won the French Open
with
the French Open doubles event. Had some good success. Quarter-finalist at the US Open, losing to Barty and Delacroix. Wimbledon, 3rd round. The French Open, Katerina Makarova was her partner. Sorry, just to answer your question there.
That's interesting, yeah.
Beat Irani and Vinci, the number 1 seeds, in the final.
Yes, very tough team.
7-5, 6-2.
Yeah, and the Italians would have been pretty happy on the clay too. So that was a good win, obviously.
Good depth from Cabeza Candela. Yeah, and had a win in Indian Wells too on the doubles court, which is a WTA Premier event. It's one of the bigger events on the tour throughout the year. A good win there. Well done. That ball just sitting up nicely for Vesnina at the moment. Cabeza Candela will need to work on those angles, maybe a little more depth, a bit more into these shots, because at the moment Vesnina's able to generate the pace, hitting plenty of winners.
She outslugged her.
Yep. Yeah, good rally between both players. That backhand, even though it came in short for Cabeza Candela, it was getting through.
Just on the Vesnina record, it's as good as it is. 4th round at a Grand Slam in the singles is as far as she's got. That was at the Australian last year. And then again at the Australian in 2006. And there was a 4th round at Wimbledon in 09. But other than that, she's sort of first, second round sort of performer. So I guess she'd love to get a little bit deeper into the Grand Slams than that.
So 30 all. Well, in a good position there, Vesnina, just pulling down on the ball. Yeah, well, now she'll have some seating protection.
Yeah.
Vesnina in the slams. Be able to get through a couple of rounds.
Game.
And Cabeza Candela holds serve. Vesnina, though, still with the break. 3 games to 2 in this opening set. Our first match on centre court. Second round matches today. And a quick update on what's happening on court events Tasmania. Klara Zakopalova, the 7 seed, leading 4-1. Zhang Shuai of China. It's the only other singles match underway. All the other matches today will be on our centre court where we are now. And coming up a little bit later on, after this match, it'll be the top seed, Samantha Stosur, playing Kristina Mladenovic of France. And there is already a big crowd here.
It's good.
Best
really
crowd
good.
I think I've seen here on a Wednesday.
Yeah. We had Serena Williams here many years ago, and she obviously drew a few people through the gate. But on the whole, at this time of day, this tournament, there's nowhere near as many as people here to watch the tennis. So they're clearly here to see Stosur. And that's, as I said earlier, that's a great thing. Do you follow the players on Twitter, Pete? Are you involved in the Twitter world?
Oh, occasionally, from time to time.
It's interesting to follow them. And I know that Vesnina likes to tweet about her, her view of the world, sometimes in Russian script, so that's a bit hard to understand. But I did see a photo that she took, what's known as a selfie. You know what a selfie is, when you take a photo of yourself and stick it out there on social media. And there was a photograph of her and a kangaroo at the local wildlife park. And I can recall Vesnina as she serves here at 3-2 up.
15 left.
Another ace.
She did say that she loved the local wildlife so much that she was seriously looking at the option of like adopting a kangaroo and taking it back to Russia. And that at one stage of her life, she was hoping to be a vet. But I'm not sure how a kangaroo would go in the environs of Sochi, Russia, where Elena is based. But she does love that sort of side of it. So that's all very nice. A nice personal sort of touches, which is great.
A little problem with the tennis ball here for Vesnina. Rather than throwing it to the ball boy, probably better to throw that to the umpire to get it checked out. 30 love. That's great angle from Vesnina.
Good tennis.
Cabeza Candela did well in the juice court, running across, hitting that forehand up the line, but then had to get back. Great angle from Elena Vesnina.
I'm interested as the. I mean, I commented on that early on that she has the nous to not try and overhit everything. She's her placement is very good. I thought that was a good example there on that forehand.
That's pressure again. Vesnina getting into the net, forcing Cabeza Candela to come up with the big shot. 4 games to 2 now in this opening set.
Yeah.
5-1 for Klara Zakopalova on Court Events Tasmania as well.
Okay. Have you seen anyone so far through the tournament, Peter, that looks in particularly good, Nick?
Alison Risk was good yesterday. And her match against Casey Delacroix, getting through 6-3 in the third. Kirsten Flipkins.
Yeah.
Good win over Marina Irakovic.
It's a tough assignment for young Storm Sanders.
Yeah, but a good one.
Yeah.
Mona Bartel didn't do a lot wrong in her match all the way back on Sunday.
She's another player who more than happy to come back here.
40 left.
A bit loose on that forehand. Here's a Candela. Just trying to pick up the pace. No, nothing on that drop shot. Cabeza Candela holds. Vesnina 4-3 in this opening set. Second round match here at the Hobart International.
Vesnina leads by 4 games.
And one of the things on the WTA Tour, if you're joining us for the first time, Cabeza Candela's coach out on court. And we'll have a discussion in the change of ends.
What's the situation there, Peter? Because this doesn't happen at the Grand Slams. What is the rule with the use of the coach?
Well, it's just for the WTA. I think it's very much just once a set, or maybe in the change of set, to have the opportunity to get your coach out on court and
once
receive some advice.
Is it a good thing, you think? What do you?
I don't mind it. When you can actually get the player and coach mic'd up, it's good because the audience gets an insight into what they're actually discussing. So it depends, I guess. Some players enjoy it. Some players don't mind having the coach out. Some players don't go for it at all. And it is only at WTA level. It's not...
so you can't get too used to it, I guess.
Yeah. So next week at the Australian Open, for example, the coaches don't come out on court.
Personally, in my experience playing this game, I'd have loved it. Just to sort of say, because often just a 20 seconds worth of advice on I don't know, your ball toss or some aspect of your game can just really lock your mind in, reset your concentration, and I'm sure would be of great benefit.
Next, first serve.
Maybe after every point would have been good for me. Certainly once a set would have been very handy, especially at the right time.
You play slow matches.
It's a strong serve, that one.
Yeah, struggled a little bit yesterday with the windy conditions, but looking good now. 73% first serve into play, and 72% of those. So after early breaks, getting good holds of serve. So it makes the last break that Vesnina got really handy, because she's looking a lot better on serve and able to just keep trading serve all the way through this opening set. So through to 40 love, 6-1 the opening set for Klara Zakopalova on Court Events Tasmania. And she'll play Alison Risk if she happens to get through in the quarterfinal.
Could be a strong match.
Game Vesnina.
Good serving from Elena Vesnina, 5-3.
Peter, just looking ahead to the
5 games to 3.
The Fed Cup tie here in early February, post the Australian Open. The Australian team, I think, barring mishap, would be Stosur, Barty and Delacqua, with Barty Delacqua to play the doubles. Would you agree with that?
Yes, Barty Delacqua definitely the doubles.
What about the second singles?
Well,
15.
Goddess over at the moment's not in the best form.
No, she's missed a lot of tennis.
Been off the tour, so slowly getting back into it.
I guess the point is that they play Russia here, and it's interesting for all of Vesnina's affection and connections with this venue and this city. She's got a commitment at the Winter Olympics in her home city of Sochi. So my understanding is she won't be able to play, which I would have thought is a bit of a blow for Russia's chances. I'm not quite sure what sort of lineup they'll present that weekend, but it's a bit of a pity that Vesnina won't be part of it.
Well, the lineup that they had for the final, Russia, was Panova, Klebanova, Kromencheva, Gasparin. So not sort of higher reaches of the rankings. Certainly I don't think Maria Sharapova will be going down to play.
So where would she be that week?
Not sure.
Somewhere else. There's an event held in Doha around that time.
No, I think getting back to your question, the second singles spot I think will be left open to the last minute. There'll be a squad announced during the Australian Open. But here at the moment, Elena Vesnina, the defending champion, with a set point. Just trying to float that ball back, Vesnina. You see, just saying to herself she needed to really swing through that. Had a bit more time than she realised. That's too easy.
Just
Vesnina there, just all set up nicely for Cabeza Candela. You see the look of anguish from Vesnina, knowing that that was nowhere near deep enough. Game point for 5-4. And got it.
Strong.
It's a bit loose from Vesnina towards the end of that service game from Cabeza Candela. But she'll be serving for the opening set, 5 games to 4.
When I say that Vesnina's got a commitment at the Winter Olympics, I'm not saying she's entering the downhill skiing or the ice skating. She's there in an ambassadorial role, I think something to do with the Olympic torch itself. So that'll be a great experience for her. But that tie that weekend is shaping up as being an interesting one as to simply who will be playing, and it looks like it might be an opportunity there for the Australians to possibly get through it to the next round of the Fed Cup. And I, once again, listening to Casey Delacqua speaking earlier this week, she did say that one of the reasons that she and Stoza and also Ashley Barty, who was due to play here, decided to come on down was to have a good look at the conditions and use it as a bit of a scouting exercise for the Fed Cup itself. So,
well, looking at potential squad options, the rankings at the moment for the Russians, Maria Sharapova obviously at 3. Then you've got Maria Kirilenko, Svetlana Kuznetsova, Ekaterina Makarova, who's had some good success with Vesnina on the doubles court. Then Vesnina, then Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, who was also playing down here. And then Nadia Petrova and Vera Dushevina. So they've got some great players
familiar names there,
they could select from.
Yeah.
But they weren't playing in the final last year.
Why was that?
Not too sure for some of them. I mean, Sharapova doesn't generally play Fed Cup.
15 left.
Do you think Barty could handle the number 2 spot?
I would say wait and see how she goes at the Australian Open. There's a lot of variables heading into the tie.
There is. But Vesnina's looking pretty good here, isn't she? Played 5-4 up with 30 love.
Yep.
Just
30-15.
Just push back a little bit there in the court. The trend of players just to really stand their ground on the baseline. Just not getting the timing right. Just missing 2 set points for Vesnina. Good way to close it out. Vesnina takes the opening set, 6 games to 4.
6 games to 4.
Keeping up a good record with 6-4. Had a pair of 6-4s to win her opening round match as well.
That was a good quality set of tennis, I thought. I think Vesnina was challenged, but seemed to always be just a couple of moves ahead of Candela. But yeah, this is good stuff. Really enjoying this.
So your assessment of the year of sport here in Tasmania? Normally we check that out while we have the opportunity.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what my assessment is, they seem to fly by quicker each time we have this conversation.
So plenty of events, there you are, on camera. Plenty of events down here in Tasmania.
Yeah, we've just finished up the Sydney to Hobart race, which is I guess more of an institution than a sporting event. And not too many sporting events can really claim that, about which you can say that, but that's always a very, very special sort of time. And we've got some exciting cricket ahead of us with Big Bash League game here on Saturday afternoon with the Hobart Hurricanes, who really blew a game last night over in Perth. Gee, it was an exciting affair. And then domestic cricket's very strong here. We will see an international 2020 game on the 29th of January, Australia playing England. Some women's cricket coming up. And then later through the year, a bit of AFL footy, not as much as the other capital cities by any means, but the North Melbourne Kangaroos will play 2 games here against St Kilda, and I have to check that one. But,
Second set, Cabeza Candela to serve.
Actually, earlier in the summer we had a visit from the English cricket team. And it was great fun to commentate on that game, one of the lead-up games with the TMS team, Jonathan Agnew. And boy, oh boy, was he excited about the view of the river. If he was up here today, I know we're on TV and I'm a radio man, but the cruise liner and the seaplane and the little boats out on the water, he was very taken with that, you know, in that English BBC style. The game itself was a bit forgettable because it rained for 2 days. And at one stage there was a submarine appeared on the river. And, gee, those guys got excited about that. So I guess in Tasmania we're so lucky to have these incredible, incredibly beautiful physical settings for our sporting venues.
Net second set.
Just look up who North Melbourne are playing here as well as St Kilda, Pete.
Oh, nicely done from Vesnina on the backhand. There's a shot before that set it up.
30-15.
Taking Cabeza Candela wide, and then ball in the right position, taking it nice and early. It was a wonderful finish. Got plenty of confidence now, Elena Vesnina.
Just on the
30 off.
Tasmania connection, I mentioned the Hobart Hurricanes. And one of their overseas players this season is Shoaib Malik, the Pakistan international, who's married to Sania Mirza, the Indian tennis player, who now plays simply as a doubles specialist. And she has at some time been the doubles partner of Elena Vesnina. So everything's connected in some way in this world, isn't it, Pete?
It's a small tennis world.
Well, yeah. Pakistan, Russia, India, Australia.
40-30.
First ace for the match for Cabeza Candela. And another one. Confident start to this second set for the Spaniard, who came through qualifying
First game, second set.
into the main draw here. Second round action. Up next, Samantha Stoza and Kristina Mladenovic of France. In front of a good crowd here in Hobart today.
Very good crowd.
A wonderful day for tennis.
And there's still another, let's say, half an hour, 40 minutes for more folks to get along if you are in the Hobart area. And there's sort of lining up behind the ropes, which is great.
15.
Just missing. That's wide as well. So again, just loose and yelling at herself.
15.
Need to get that timing adjusted. That forehand up the line. Almost as if she's crammed for room. It's better for Cabeza Candela, putting a little more on that forehand. That's good again. Just the placement of the ball there from Vesnina up the line.
30.
So where does the Spaniard go from here, Peter? What's she got to do to try and break down Vesnina?
Well, she's putting a little bit more on her ground strokes, forcing Vesnina back in the court. We've seen it a couple of times when Vesnina's been in control. She's stepping inside the baseline, really able to move Cabeza Candela side to side, then come into the net occasionally as well. And it's very hard to stop when your opponent's serving like that. Have an opportunity within the service game, so from 30 all to 40-30, 30 all, great chance to make an impact, maybe get a break point. But Vesnina controlling this well. That was better. Something a little bit different from Cabeza Candela. Went a little bit deeper into the ad court. That was the thing that upset the rhythm of Vesnina.
But these are the things that an experienced coach could point out in a matter of 30 seconds, couldn't they? I sometimes used to, or still wonder about that charade of players and coaches communicating on the court, and you sort of wonder if it's not worth just doing away with the whole notion and giving them a little bit of, a very specific amount of time and doing it that way.
Well, it's the idea that tennis is an individual sport.
Sure, of course.
And so while the coaches are there to assist, it's still very much up to the player on the particular day and the particular situation.
When you think about the golfers, I mean, they've got someone they can talk to every single moment of the the round, except when they're actually playing the shot. They must have an enormous effect on the way they go about it. But a tennis player, it's a very lonely place. And when the...
that's wide. That's a big miss. Break of serve to Cabeza Candela.
When the eyes get a little bit cloudy and things start going wrong, you just need someone to talk to quickly. But then again, that's the brilliance of the sport, that a singles match is so psychological. It's almost one of its greatest attractions. I've often thought for a long time, that there's nothing as great as a really, really top singles tennis match. Without coaches.
So 2-love. Good opportunity for Cabeza Candela. Vesnina's going to put pressure on the serve. The breeze just picking up a little bit. It was a wonderful second serve from Cabeza Candela. Nina, as we said, stepping into the court, so I had to put that ball right on the service line, which he did. You get the shorter reply, able to control the point. Better from Vesnina to be a little bit frustrated this stage of the match after being in control.
I reckon this will be a long day on court, Peter. I think the matches are going to be very evenly matched. And that's good news for the spectators. It's just my feeling, but she gets out to a 3-0 in the second. A few signs of frustration here from the champ.
Oh yes, and understandably so. This, right from the start of this set.
I wouldn't say she cruised through that first set, but she clearly had an opponent covered through the 6-4.
That's again a nice setup. This time Cabeza Candela working into that backhand corner. And it's just been that slight adjustment that she's made, particularly in this second set. That ball a little bit deeper, hitting it a bit harder, just to take the time away from Vesnina.
Game. Cabeza
And in a very good position in this second set. Cabeza Candela, 3 games to love.
And I think
Vesnina is requested to sit coach.
Understandably so. Now is a good time to
I would have thought.
get the coach out on court and have a discussion about how things are going.
I would have thought 3-love is about. If you had a plan, you'd say, okay, if I'm 3-love down, I'm calling for you.
Yep. Well, it's all about the timing with these things,
Yeah, it
because
is.
you do have limited opportunities to get the coach out on court and use them wisely.
Yeah, I'm a bit either way on it. I think I can see the good things about it.
Well, that's something we certainly won't be requiring today,
Well, I'll tell you, you
only for shade.
the umbrella, because I tell you, if the sun does break through and start to take over, then it's a pretty fearsome proposition at this time of the year. So, it's great that people are still filing in. Can we see any of the background there? We got the shot of the cruise ship. No, but there's a lovely liner in, the Dawn Princess, just straight smack bang in our eye line here. And I know Craig Gabriel, the veteran and very well-travelled tennis correspondent, says the only tennis venue, in his opinion, that can match this for sheer physical beauty is
Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had it described by my commentary colleague from over the years, Eleanor Preston, as Monte Carlo with sheds.
This one?
Yeah, because you got all the sheds down in the background as well.
I have been to Monte Carlo many years ago, but I reckon I'd take this.
How very parochial of you.
Well, I'm sure it's a beautiful venue, but I think the sheer physical beauty and the layout, I must get up there one time and make my mind up for myself. Is Eleanor Preston back this year? Is she coming down?
Not sure. I don't think she will be this year.
That's a
I think
pity.
Nicole Bradkey will be coming down.
Monte Carlo with sheds. Monte Carlo with gum trees.
Yeah. Important stage of the match for Vesnina, just to try and wrestle back some of this momentum.
Yeah.
Put a bit of pressure on Cabeza Candela. Certainly, Cabeza Candela's game turned around when she had her coach out on court. Just after that, just a matter of refocusing for Vesnina. This is where the challenge comes in. We're not playing so well, just to find a way through.
Yeah.
That's better from Vesnina.
30.
Give you an update on the outside court action with Clara Zakopalova in a very strong position. Oh, that's a bad miss. Haven't seen Cabeza Candela get to the net too often. It was the right play, work across court, but again, just couldn't finish it off. Clara Zakopalova 6-1 and 5-2 now over Zheng Shuai. It's on court events Tasmania.
Might be stating the obvious, Peter, but this is a pretty important game for Vesnina.
Game Vesnina.
And there it is. So Vesnina on the board in this second set. Different dynamic to the match, as you could hear with our effects mics. The breeze has picked up.
Just tidying up the discussion we had about sporting events in Tasmania this year. The North Melbourne Kangaroos play St Kilda and the Adelaide Crows. The Crows is, I think, round 20.
Yep.
The Saints is round 2. So that's just across the river there at Bellreeve Oval.
To the left of screen.
Yeah.
Never been to Hobart before. Important for Cabeza Candela just to hold her concentration in a very good position in this second set. A couple of loose errors. Don't allow Vesnina back into the match.
Could have been deep.
And that was just chopping down into the court.
That never looked like getting over, did it?
15.
So the errors are piling up here for Elena.
This is time just to really knuckle down. Certainly Vesnina, but Cabeza Candela just want to keep rolling along.
Next person.
Just a bit of a lull now in the match as we get towards the hour mark. That's nicely done again. That's talk about controlling the point.
30.
Good serve, short reply, and would really attack, and it puts Vesnina on the back foot. And when she's not playing so well, the confidence is down. Just trying everything, throwing up a lob that time.
Still 30 all, second serve, an opportunity here for Vesnina.
That's just missed.
40, 30.
Right idea.
Right idea, but never was really on top of that shot, I thought. Just looked a little bit cramped, little ambitious with the angle.
Well done. Good depth again from Cabeza Candela. Flying along 4 games to 1 now.
Look at the body language.
4 games to 1.
The Spaniard upright, focused, striding to her chair as Vesnina pretty much trudges towards her chair, head down.
And the score update to Court Events Tasmania. That match is finished. Clara Zakopalova 6-1, 6-2 through to a quarter-final with Alison Risk of the USA.
Look forward to.
So that was the only match or singles match out on Court Events Tasmania. So All the focus now on centre court, and the match coming up after this one, Samantha Stozer and Kristina Mladenovic. Best crowd for a Wednesday here in Hobart, I think, that I've seen, certainly in the 4 years that I've been coming down.
I would say since Serena Williams was here in 07, where she got to the quarters and was defeated by an Austrian player called Sybil Bummer.
Yep.
The poor old Serena, who you have to sympathise with her a little bit. I think I knew what she was trying to say. She said, well, it's not fair because after she lost to Bummer, it seems to me that these sort of players only play that well when they play against me. Why do they do that? It didn't go down that well, but she kind of had a point.
Yeah. Well, of course, you want to try and beat the best in the world. And
when you're one of the all-time greats, people are going to lift their game. That's the package, but it just didn't come out right.
She's the best in the world. Don't worry about that. Vesnina serving now 1-4 in this second set.
But that was an afternoon match, possibly on the Thursday of the tournament, some years ago now.
And a good follow-up as well. That's much better control from Vesnina.
15 left.
Go back into this controlled aggression. That will lift her confidence.
Well, surely a quick service game here from Vesnina. Then she can really go to work on the Spaniard and whittle away one of the break, and then it should be back on terms again. So just a nice quick service game is what she wants. Yep. There's the 30.
There's a good example of that wind gusting up, and in the first 2 days it was the end that Vesnina had. She was would have been hitting with the wind. Now it's swung around, so hitting into it. And for Cabeza Candela, just needs to be very careful. Doesn't want any loose ground strokes because they will fly long. That is the first double fault for Vesnina in the match. Still serving very well, 75% into play, winning 70% of those points, and 50% on the second serve. Despite the scoreline, that's still good in terms of percentages. Oh, yes. Back to what we saw in the first set. Vesnina able to control the point. That one right in the hitting zone. Got into position early, balanced. It was a nice setup. Confidence starting to build again. And there's the wind through our effects mics.
Not too bad, though. It's more of a breeze, I would have thought.
Well, yes, and it tends to just gust up a little bit, then drop away. So it's not too bad. Still very good conditions.
Say is, because we are so high and so exposed, we certainly feel every shift in the breeze that takes place through a day here. The river's still pretty calm down there. A little bit rippled.
Good depth on the forehand from Vesnina. Had to dig it out. That's holding serve, and now the challenge for Vesnina to break the Cabeza Candela serve.
Here's the old seventh game, Peter. It's either 5-2 or 4-3 after this one.
Well, getting a whole lot of first serves into play, which is good from Cabeza Candela, and winning a lot of points on that first serve. That's been the key, the Cabeza Candela game. And an extra advantage too, serving with new balls.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
And with the breeze, so the serves will have a little bit more on them.
It's not quite like Test cricket with the new ball changes the game entirely. But, oh, yeah, good serve.
So there's that extra speed.
Yeah, it was noticeable there. You think the new balls make a big difference? How long does it last? How long does the effect of the new ball last?
Oh, maybe a game or three.
Game or three?
It's more about what the players like. These tennis balls have changed around a little bit. They don't fluff up as much as what they used to.
Okay. Good point.
Yeah, bit of frustration that time from Cabeza Candela.
So she had the big win on the textbook first serve for the 15 love, and then was outslugged by Vesnina for the 15 all. It's tightening up a bit.
Getting that ball just up the middle, just not able to time it. Feet weren't quite in position.
It was a real shank, wasn't it?
Just struggling with the ball toss. Mr. Candela.
Ooh,
that's a great serve.
It was an excellent second serve.
That's just too good in the end.
Yeah, that was an excellent second serve.
Beautiful placement right on the service line.
Yeah, it was as good as a lot of first serves you see out there.
Game points now for 5-2.
Deep. Good return.
40.
Yeah, Cabeza Candela's having good success with the serve into the body. Just really cramping Vesnina. That's wide, so loose there from Cabeza Candela. Again, the serve was okay. Just trying to really cramp up Vesnina. Not give her any opportunity to get a free swing at the ball.
If nothing else, Vesnina's just hanging in there and just staying with the Spaniard, and who knows, she might have an opening right here soon. Good serve. Yeah, good play there.
Yep, nice and deep. So again, the position of Vesnina right on the baseline, and was always going to pick that up as a half volley. Another game point. And holds. Under a little bit of pressure in that service game, Cabeza Candela, but holds 5-2 in this second set. First match of 4 today on centre court, and one singles match tonight. Samantha Stosur, Kristina Mladenovic coming up after this match. And following that, Storm Sanders and Kirsten Flipkins. Mona Bartel, Monica Niculescu will be the final match for the day session. And then Gavin Muguruza will play Janina Vikmar. That's the singles action today. And you join the conversation at Hobart Tennis.
I don't know about you, Peter, but I'm expecting a third set here.
Well, it's certainly looking that way.
It's that way, isn't it?
I do think, though, that Vesnina's playing a lot better as the set has gone on. Struggling there for a while. Plenty of unforced errors, but slowly turning it around.
Well, that's right. There was Cabeza Candela had to really work hard for that service game. But at 5-2, if Vesnina holds here and then can sneak a little break in, it'll tighten up, significantly. And the balls are only one game old.
Yep. 2-5, Vesnina serving.
$15 love.
A lot of activity here in the media centre, Peter. The box of sandwiches has arrived. It's like the...
$30 love.
There we go. And her previous service game was also relatively easy, Vesnina. So she's got a 30 love up here.
Nets, first set.
Nicely done.
Yeah, good tennis.
Half-court ball for Cabeza Candela.
30-15. $30 off.
It was a searing return. And really, the best Vesnina could do there was just trying to poke a little half volley back into play. That didn't happen. Good stuff, this, isn't it?
It
Very
is.
Good.
It's a very interesting match unfolding. Well done. Nice from Cabeza Candela. Vesnina had to go back to the middle of the court. Was trying to anticipate where that next one was going. And just very nicely done. Working behind Vesnina.
That was beautifully done. One thing for sure is that Estrella is giving Vesnina very few free points. Her error rate is quite low at the moment, so Vesnina's having to hit that extra shot.
Game point.
Yep.
Just being forced to rush that forehand.
She's getting so much depth on some of those forehands, and Vesnina's standing up quite close to the baseline, and she's just getting caught out a bit there. Maybe she could go a little deeper, perhaps. The sheer power is just catching her on the wrong foot. Now she's trying to just squeeze a bit more out on the first serves.
Another error on that forehand side, and Cabeza Candela
She's just
has a set point.
She's getting nothing cheap, is it? There's no easy points for her. Everything's it's all hard at the moment for Vesnina, and the Spaniards, frankly, playing much better tennis. Good serve.
That's a good finish. Trying to get the 3 point on the serve.
But she had to pull out her A+ game there, didn't she? She really did. The perfect deep serve to the backhand, and then she decided to go for the barest of margins on the winner, which paid off on that occasion.
Advantage.
Another set points. Good serve. Forcing Cabeza Candela to stretch.
Vesnina can just hang on here and force Estrella to serve for the set. I just wonder if that might be a possible psychological moment. A lot of work to do before that happens. That depth on those forehand returns is really hurting Vesnina.
Another set point. A couple of opportunities to close this out, but Vesnina's come up with a big serve at the right time. And it's wide. We're off to a deciding set. Estrella Cabeza Candela taking the second set. 6 games to 2, 1 hour and 15 minutes on court. And
requested to see.
well, we got Cabeza Candela just requesting her coach out onto court. But I think there might be a call for the trainer for Vesnina.
I heard that. I thought she looked at the upper leg.
So they're on the way. You just hear that in the background. So it'll be treatment required for Elena Vesnina, whereas Estrella Cabeza Candela will have her coach out on court for an extended period of time now, so they can have a good discussion. And certainly should be feeling pretty confident heading into the final set.
Did you see any signs there, Peter, that Vesnina was having trouble with her movement? I'm not sure that I did. Apart from the fact that she was getting caught out on the baseline from those really strong, deep forehand returns from Cabeza Candela. But I thought she was moving around all right. She wasn't playing terribly well, but I thought the Spaniard was just right in the groove and was just giving nothing away. And Vesnina just kept trying to press that little harder, and the errors started to build up. So
At the back picture.
looks like it's some sort of
Lower back injury.
yeah, some sort of hamstring type. The question is it nothing that a couple of quick games in a row wouldn't fix? I guess that's the answer. That's the question.
Well, yeah, it didn't appear to be hampering her movement. But obviously feeling something at the moment. Yep. So the trainer will do an assessment. So there's a period of time set aside for the trainer to actually make an assessment on the injury. And then there'll be a 5-minute injury timeout if required. After consultation with Carolyn Kramer down there, who is the referee for this event from Australia. And the umpire will make an assessment, or will make an announcement too in a moment, because I think Elena Vesnina is going to leave the court for some treatments.
Do you think players do this sort of thing strategically?
Well, I don't think in this case you really needed to. I mean, you know, you've got a 2-minute change of ends. Stopping for 5 minutes may not change anything.
But there have been cases in the past where it probably has been used.
Oh, probably, but you need to actually have a genuine injury to get genuine treatment. And remembering too that the injury timeout period will be starting. If it hasn't already started, it will be starting very soon. So it means that we won't have another opportunity in the third set. So even Cabeza Candela gets to 3-love or something like that, you can't call the trainer out and have another 5 minutes.
Just in terms of just her opponent had so much momentum. I'm not being cynical or saying that the rules are being exploited here, but when your opponent has got so much momentum and there's a feeling that there has to be a way of short-circuiting that, this sort of break wouldn't hurt that. Cause. But I'm not suggesting that she's faking anything.
But there are other ways of doing it. And bring the coach out onto courts, go for a bathroom break. Using up an injury timeout, and you mentioned that sort of players in the past might have done that, but then you leave yourself into the position where you might actually have an injury or injure something else, and then you don't have that time to be able to do it. So the tournament referee is chatting with the umpire, Tom Sweeney, out there on court. So it means that just keeping the umpire up to date. He'll no doubt keep the fans up to date in a moment too, letting them know what's going on. But what it means though is that for Estrella Cabeza Candela is that the coach can stay out on court for the entirety of this break, and just a way to talk more tactics, to talk more in depth, get the message across.
I was thinking more of in a general sense as the use of the injury timeout. That was my point. But if there is a bit of a niggle, of course, for Vesnina, and then she has to think about, well, I've got a Grand Slam tournament next week. What's the right thing to do? And I guess logically,
so Cabeza Candela is having a bathroom break as well. So the treatment period has actually commenced. So 5 minutes now to get the injury treated and sorted out. And then they have to arrive back out on court. It can always be that in the change of ends, if further treatment is required, then the players can get it in the change of ends, but they've only got the 90 seconds. They don't have the 5 minutes. So we're just now in a holding pattern, but good opportunity for the crowd to have a stretch and look forward to the next match. Samantha Stosur and Kristina Mladenovic, which should be a really interesting encounter.
Very. Well, this break has given the patrons plenty of time to file into the arena, which is filling very well, I've got to say. I think we're close to over half full. It's a 2,000 seat capacity. So I think
you're over half full.
2/3 of the way. There'll be a really good atmosphere here. The corporate areas are nicely patronised, so that's great. And, it shows you that star power and local interest does work, and good weather as well.
So about 90 seconds to go in this injury timeout.
What do you think the approach would be from Vesnina if there's a bit of a niggle? What do you think she'll do?
Well, I think now we started even again, and there were signs that Vesnina was working her way back into that second set, but Cabeza Candela was so solid from the back of the court, put a lot more on her ground strokes, getting the ball a lot deeper, and that was what was having able to put pressure on Vesnina. So we've got about a minute or so to go before the injury timeout is complete. And there is Cabeza Candela, just walking back out onto court. Just in the corner of your screen. We'll sit back down. Difficult for her. Had her coach out on court, but now we'll need to get back up and warm up. We've seen players in the past go out and practice their serves. She will be serving first in this final set. And so the time is completed, which means we'll have a player back out on court very soon. So the players will sometimes have their treatment off the court, and luckily the club room and the changing rooms aren't too far away, so that treatment can be done very quickly, and the player can be back out on court quite quickly as well. So you can just hear in the background that Elena Vesnina will be back out on court very, very soon. And then we get into the final sets. So Elena Vesnina back now out on courts.
It's all pretty dramatic, isn't it?
It is.
Good. And when people do filing, it just adds to that sense of theatre. And
well, it's given the crowd an opportunity to really get into this match.
Does, yeah.
I know that Vesnina is the defending champion here, but I like the way that Cabeza Candela has gone about her tennis. And as you talked about, Pete, they want to see close matches all the way through.
I reckon they will today. This could be a long day for you, Peter. With the 3 matches to come after this, we could easily push through to sort of 6 p.m.
Final sets.
It's a wonderful thing about tennis. Cabeza Candela to get us underway in this final set.
Ooh, good serving again.
15 left.
Well, no signs there that the injury timeout has changed the tone of the match. Just favouring that left upper leg. Well, not favouring it, just giving it a bit of a tweak, stretching it as she moved to the forehand court there, Vesnina.
Got it. Just. No problems with the movement, but to be fair, she really didn't have to move that far. Only a few steps either side.
15-4.
Here we go.
Love a break in this opening game of the final set.
That was an excellent return there from Vesnina.
Game Vesnina.
Hitting with the breeze, helping Vesnina there. Opening game of the final sets. And I should also mention too that the trainer is on standby courtside for the change of ends, just in case any further treatment is required. There's not technically, well, it's definitely not a change of ends, but the players just, they go to the chair and have a sip of water and towel down and then get back out there again.
Now here's a moment, isn't it, Peter, with Vesnina to serve for the 2-love lead, and obviously the consolidation of the break in the third set, which is just the tonic she needs at this stage of the match.
Love 15.
It's a bit loose for Cabeza Candela. The hard thing with a break of around 10 or so minutes in between sets is
My word.
it sort of cool down a little bit.
Well, it's all about a psychological space a lot of the time, isn't it? Singles tennis. Ooh, what's long?
30-15.
She was tending not to make that sort of error in that second half of the second set, which she played so well.
Got it. Here's a Candela. That's better.
30.
Should be looking to do a lot more of that. Try and generate the angle. Plays a lot up the middle of the court, particularly early on in the rally. Again, was just reaching for that forehand break point because there's a Candela. Just not quite getting into position.
No.
Did that forehand up the line.
Is that a mobility thing, do you think?
We saw it a lot in the second set.
Yeah, we did.
Game.
And there is a break of serve. There's a Candela. 1 game all now in this final sets.
1 game all.
1 hour 31 minutes as Elena Vesnina just looks to her corner and having a few words with her coach.
Love.
Well, that'll be one of the things that Vesnina needs to do if she wants to shorten the points.
30 love.
Obviously, she is injured, but she takes the opportunity to get into the net. Try something a little bit different. Just change up the hitting pattern of Cabeza Candela. Didn't quite work on that occasion, but it's positive play.
Shot.
As is that.
30-15.
I just wonder what a run of games would do for Vesnina's mobility and her general demeanour on the court. And she needs a string of winners.
Got it.
40-15.
Yeah, so the mobility there was a bit of an issue, getting across for that ball.
Not looking fantastic at the moment, is she?
Game point for 2-1. That's a great serve. Too little player who's hampered by the movement at the moment. Cabeza Candela, 2 games to 1 in this final set. And the trainer will come back out onto court, continue the treatments. So now, just 90 seconds. We know the trainer will know what the injury is and be able to just keep working on it.
Well, sort of this very happy association that Vesnina has with Hobart is looks like it might be about to. That trend is about to sort of come to an end, but I'm not liking the way she's looking on the court. Her opponent is doing everything right, just playing really solid percentage tennis and letting the player who's a little bit down on confidence and is hurting a bit to sort of unravel. Although it's by no means out of reach here for Vesnina, but the sight of her lying on the stomach getting treatment from the trainer at this point is not an encouraging one.
Yeah, a bit hard to see from our vantage point, but it does look to be the lower back that's being worked on. But now 90 seconds at a time for this injury timeout.
I guess she's thinking, well, it's my title, it's my stadium. I want it to go better than this.
Yeah, but if it's something that will respond to treatment, then it is a good thing to keep playing and keep fighting it out. And the players will have a really good gauge of that too.
Well, we'll know, I think, in the next couple of games, won't we, Peter, about what the fate is here for Vesnina. If she can lift here and hold a serve and, as I say, just string together some points, it could all turn around. Would you agree with that?
Well, yes, but it's also her ability to control the point again, and we saw it in that opening set when she's able to really dictate terms and stand on the baseline in the middle of the court and just move Cabeza Candela side to side and then just take that opportunity on the short ball to come into the net. That'll be the key for her. It's when she's forced to reach and be at full stretch, so that ball will come in short for Cabeza Candela. So you lose that defensive side of the game. Very deliberate now in her approach, Vesnina. Danger time. So he didn't put too much pace on that, but it was just the angle.
30 on.
Wow. Cabeza Candela, that was a wonderful opportunity. Vesnina just struggling to get forward. The ball hit the net cord. The lob was on, just couldn't finish it off.
Way out too, isn't it? Miles out.
Well, I only tried the drop shot a couple of times. And you see, just trying to shorten the points again, trying something different, trying to sort of work around the injury that she has. And Cabeza Candela will know that. And for her, it will be just making sure you get Vesnina moving side to side, bring her forward, take it back.
Next, first set. Very loud.
We have no net machine here, the Hobart International, but one right in front of the umpire. It's not happening. I think we're getting close to a conclusion to trying everything at the moment, Vesnina, but just not able to put anything on the ground strokes.
I'd be inclined to give a lot of credit to her opponent, who's just playing the percentages.
And that's all she needs to do.
That's it. She's been doing that for some time now.
That's long. 3 games to 1 now.
Cabeza Candela leads by 3 games to 1.
To see Vesnina there in shot. Very disappointed. Not just for this tournament where she comes in as the defending champion, but also for events next week in Melbourne. I wonder whether Vesnina will get more treatment from the trainer in the change of ends, or they'll reach a point where there's not much more that can be done, particularly just for this match. And certainly now the Vesnina mindset has changed. Really worried about this injury. Yeah, not running at all for that. Cabeza Candela, 4 games to 1. Are we stopping? No, the trainer will come back out onto court.
I'm expecting.
Cabeza Candela leading by 4 games to 1.
I was half expecting Vesnina to throw up run up the white flag just then, but maybe she's thinking one more treatment.
Well, there's a shrug of the shoulders there. This is a bit unfortunate now, and thinking about possible options.
Yeah.
Continuing, not continuing.
Requested to see it.
I tell you what, it's a pretty busy little place down there with coaches coming and going and trainers and whatnot.
Well, this will be handy for Vesnina because having the coach out on court does tend to lengthen the 90 seconds a little bit. And let's have a look.
This could be it.
As what Vesnina is going to do, walking around to the other side of the court, and that is the end of the match.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to injury, Miss Vesnina is retiring.
That's a shame.
It is a real shame. But for Estrella, Candela has had a good win here. 4-6, 6-2. And then 4-1 with the retirement to Elena Vesnina. Disappointing for Vesnina. Estrella Cabeza Candela, though, is through to a quarter-final here in Hobart, and will play the winner of Mona Bartel and Monica Nicolescu. 1 hour and 43 minutes on court, but as you said, Pete, great for Cabeza Candela. She played a super match, but disappointing for the defending champion here, Elena Vesnina, as she makes her way off the court.
What a contrast to last year, where she left here as the big smiles and the trophy, and a year later she has to limp off after being outplayed for a segment of the match and also injured.
Well, you hope,
in the second round.
You hope, fingers crossed, that everything will be okay with the Australian Open just around the corner.
I hope she has a really good year, and that it's a shame she won't be back for the Fed Cup tie, but let's hope we see her again in 2015. Before we go, we'll wrap it up, Peter, what's your prediction for the Stozer match?
I think Sam will win, but wonderful. Best crowd I've seen on the Wednesday here at the tournament. Probably one of the best crowds I've seen overall at the tournament. I think 3 sets, and I think Stozer will just get over the line again. I
hope you're right.
Tasmania Grandstand, before we let you go, Pete. 11 o'clock Saturday mornings?
That's correct, yes. As of the week after next, so that's where you can hear me also on the ABC Grandstand digital channel with our weekly cricket program. Myself and Dan Lonigan, the Melbourne-based broadcaster, present a show called Cow Corner each week, looking at the fascinating world of cricket.
Yep.
So that's and also on the live program Saturday, Sundays through the summer. You'll hear me pretty regularly. So yeah, it's all good to be a part of. On
the radio, but also online as well, and on digital radio here in Australia too. So thanks, Pete, for coming up.
It's a pleasure. It was a great match.
We'll do it again next year.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much for joining us in commentary as we get ready for our next match coming up. It's Samantha Stozer and Kristina Mladenovic. That coming up next here in Hobart.